हेलो दोस्तों, वेलकम टू चाय पे चर्चा। आप देख रहे हैं शो विद वैन। आई एम लोकली residing up here in Raleigh, North Carolina. I know this podcast will be, serving a lot of people out here in US, to a lot of folks, lots of information. आज की information बहुत ही informative होगी. So I thought, I wanted to do this podcast for a long time because this is an upcoming topic happening a lot in our Indian diaspora and others as well. Me personally, I got, in touch with a lot of people in the past, but I wanted to do this podcast in a 100% unbiased fashion, which from people I don't even know about. So I don't know RFG, I don't know Rakesh ji, I don't know Prasant ji, right? Like the folks have connected with us to RadioNyra, and this would be more of an informative session than not a selling point on anything. मेनली एक गोल ये है कि सबको इस चीज के बारे में इन्फॉर्म किया जाए, and a lot of people can take benefit of that, right? क्योंकि not a lot of people are aware of this thing, and the whole idea and the goal for this podcast is to bring the awareness to everyone. This has been done through Zoom. Unfortunately, we can't meet today, but I think Arif G and everybody is based out of New York. So आज का एपिसोड बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट होने वाला है, स्पेशली उन लोगों के लिए अमेरिका में जो सेटल होना चाहते हैं, बट दे डोंट वांट टू बी इन दिस लाइक ट्रेडिशनल पाथ ऑफ H1B L1s एंड लाइक वेटिंग लॉन्ग पीरियड्स. तो उनके लिए क्या ऑप्शन है, राइट? एंड देन सम पीपल हु वांट टू इन्वेस्ट, क्रिएट एम्प्लॉयमेंट, ऑल ऑफ दैट गुड स्टफ. तो आज हम बात करने वाले हैं इस एपिसोड के ऑप्शंस के बारे में, इस ऑप्शंस के बारे में जो लोगों को एक्साइट करता है, और साथ में एक थोड़ी सी uh, uh, हिचकिचाहट भी लाता है कि लाइक इज दिस रियली फॉर मी और नॉट, बिकॉज दिस इज नॉट everybody's cup of tea, but again, this is out there and a lot of people can take advantage of it. और मैं personally जानता हूँ बहुत लोगों को जिन्होंने इस चीज का advantage लिया है, and they've been in a perfectly good situation. So आज we'll talk about like simple, right? We'll break it down into the simple level for someone who has not been involved in this, who wants to learn about things. There is two factors to this for the viewers. One is about understanding the legality of all of this, and the other is like how do you come from, I mean, हम इंडिया से आए हैं, कहीं से भी आए हैं, एक इतनी बड़ी इन्वेस्टमेंट में कहाँ पे पैसा रखना? Is this a safe investment? Money is one thing when you have it, but how you spend it is also wisely is also another thing. And just having that safety net on top of your head is also very important. So, आज का episode is basically, we're going to break these myths, which is out for EB5, and Arif ji, Rakesh ji, and Prashant ji will help me out in that. But before I dive in a little bit deep, I think the introduction banta hai. So as I said, myself is Van. मैं एक छोटा सा यहाँ पे ग्रुप चलाता हूँ, दिल से देसी, and I kind of started this small show here in Radio Naira. And I'm going to keep bringing up these topics in future as well for other, things as we go along, but in the journey. But this was one of the, a pretty hard cookie out there, right? Everybody wanted to talk about this. अरे क्या options है इसके लिए, right? People are investing in properties, homes, whatever, but why not secure yourself from a green card perspective? So आज हमारे साथ है आरिफ जी. If you would like to, introduce yourself, explain us a little bit about your background, your credentials, and how you have been involved in the AB5, world, with your past clients and all of that good stuff. So I'll pass it over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. I'm originally from Hyderabad, India. I came to the U.S. in 1976. Live in Wichita, Kansas, which is middle of the country, away from all of the large urban areas. However, that being said, I'm an attorney. I've been practicing law for quite some time. I've had mostly my background comes from financial restructuring of companies when they're in financial trouble. However, in 2017, I was introduced to the EB5 world, and then my law practice slowly evolved into doing almost exclusively EB5 work. And then I do either very practice. Been fortunate enough to meet Rakesh and Prashantji, and I've been talking to them off and on. So I've done approximately 50 plus
Nice.
EB-5s. And there was
Wow.
a gap during COVID where nothing happened for 2, 3 years. But
Hmm.
outside of that, and especially now, because the H1B world is upside down, because
Hmm.
there's tremendous amount of uncertainty in this world, and people are looking to jump in something more permanent like EB5s.
Nice.
So, very nice project in a T zone. तो सर आई एम एट योर डिस्पोजल. आप मुझे पूछें, जिस किस्म
Yes.
का सवाल पूछें उस किस्म का जवाब दूंगा. टूटी फूटी हिंदी, उर्दू, इंग्लिश
कोई
में.
बात नहीं. If you feel comfortable in English, that's totally fine as well. As I said, like, language doesn't matter. My goal is to make it as simple as possible for the end, our listeners, that what is this whole hype of EB5, right?
Sure.
Whether is it my cup of tea or not, because बहुत सारे लोग ये सोचते हैं कि, मेरे पास इतना पैसा नहीं है and all these things and whatever, जो बोलते हैं ना, बहुत सारी चीजों में myths होते हैं. So I just want to break
Sure.
those myths out today and get the right information out to the people. With that said, Prasanji, I'll hand it over to you to introduce yourself, your background, and then we'll go to Rakeshji.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Van. Appreciate your time, and thank you so much, everybody, Abdulji and Rakeshji also. I come from an IT background, right? Obviously, like everybody else, I have been an SAP, ex-SAP consultant for many,
Nice.
many years, for 1.5 decades. And then, by grace of God, I got into real estate about 12 years ago. And ever since, I was involved into multifamily and assisted living space. The
Nice.
primary strengths are multifamily and assisted living. We have
Hmm.
done, we have done at least 12 projects in multifamily space, and in the last 5 years, we have done 4 projects in assisted living space. Right?
Nice.
Assisted living is a bigger project than multifamily, because you have the operations and everything. So we are specialized in conversion of existing facilities. We don't acquire running purpose-built facilities which are already running. We
Hmm.
acquire the distressed assets, we convert them into assisted living, and we bring the occupancy up. That's what we are
Great.
specialized in. So,
Nice.
in a nutshell, we have about, between me and Rakesh ji will talk about himself also, we have about 500 units in assisted living space. So we have
Is that
projects.
all across US or in particular states?
So yeah, these are all across United States.
Nice.
We just sold one project in California, a smaller project,
Nice.
back in Sacramento, West Coast. Then we have East Coast, Connecticut, and then we have Arizona, Southern Arizona, and then we have 2 projects in Cincinnati, Ohio. So
Yes.
all in all, we are skilled professionals. I mean, I am the least experienced in all the folks who are there on the call, but there is considerable experience that we have
Nice.
done syndications. We don't do single families anymore. We
Hmm.
started with single family, but we don't do that. We have done syndications for multifamily. For assisted living now, that there is a demand out there,
Oh, yes.
which is
This is
growing
this is
much.
turning out to be massive. In fact, we have a one of the biggest senior citizen expo coming here in Raleigh, and that I've been there last year. वहाँ पे I was blown away, like, with the amount of response they have, because everybody needs care after a certain time, right? So this is one of the biggest thing, which is in very, very high demand nowadays in US.
Yeah, so that is exactly true. When the point is that the demand is growing faster than supply, right?
Yep.
So this is they call it in a commercial terms, it is called a silver tsunami that is about to
Yes.
hit in 2029, 2030, in that time frame. And
Yep.
we have been tracking that demand, and we have been tracking that supply, national supply, for last 5, 6 years, even from before COVID. So
Very nice.
I would not take too much time because the questions have to
Yes.
come. I will pass
Yep.
it over to Rakesh ji, who is the most senior partner in this overall ordeal. So we have saved the best for the last. So Rakesh ji, I would hand it over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Prashantji, and thank you, everybody, and thanks, Van. My life has been dual. You can say that I started my journey when I was 9 years old.
Nice.
And my first life, I retired. I took a premature retired from the army when I was 34 years old. So
Wow.
I did 9 years old. I went to Sainik School, went to NDA, IMA, Indian Military Academy, got commissioned in the Army in 83 and served in the Army till 96, Corps of Engineers. Did my degree, did my master's from IIT Kanpur, involved many big projects while in the Army, including the Indian Habitat Center for Army in Antarctica. After when I left Army, that's where the real world began. And from 1996 onwards, I was involved in construction, opened my own construction company, was settled in New Zealand with my brother. And over a period of 20 years, I went into construction and hospitality, created a market for 28 hotels across New Zealand, Australia, and United States. United States spread out in Texas, Kentucky, Ohio, Michigan, Colorado, New Jersey. What intricated was the change when I was 60 plus, the COVID hit. And that's where began the thought of transitioning from hospitality to the senior living, retirement village, retirement life. Came across Prashantji, met him, we connected. And to be precise, we have a lot of experience in construction. I, being an engineer, I have built all my life. And kind of expertise we have gained over a period of time where we are able to deliver the building on a very much cheaper, much economic than anybody else can do. And among us, like Prashantji said, that we already have about 500 units between us on the retirement home. So the big part which you will come to know as we go through this podcast, that very important for the investors is that who the people behind the project. So
Exactly.
like Prashantji said, that combined experience among me and him would be almost about 65 to 75 years.
Wow.
We have done the real estate in and out. We do construction ourselves. We manage ourselves. And we are already in this retirement village field. Now to the project, which a little bit I can talk about the project. This is the building which we have now
I think
acquired.
I'll wait on that one.
Sure. Okay.
Let
So
थोड़ा सा suspense रखते हैं.
no problem. No problem. That's fine. So
So
basically,
yeah.
what I can say is that the people are in good hands, and I was
Yes.
involved. Also, I would like to mention, I myself came to United States through a L1. I had
Oh,
my company in New Zealand. Then I had my work in US, so I was able to do a L1 not only for myself but few more of my
nice.
staff as well.
Nice.
And I was able to do about 4 or 5 EB-5 with a direct investment, which you will talk about
Wow.
here. So I'm pretty much know this field for last about 15 years. So
So
we have
basically, you have been through this process, and इससे बढ़िया कोई testimony नहीं हो सकती because you have part and parcel of this.
correct. And to put cherry on the top, my daughter, I brought her from New Zealand. She's a plastic
Nice.
surgeon, passing out as a plastic surgeon now.
Wow.
Done a fellowship, and she'll be starting her surgery next month in Florida. She came on a EB-5, so
Wow.
I got my daughter on EB-5, and I came myself on L1. And to give you good news, last week I had my another L1 done for Snehal Bhatnagar. He got his green card
Wow.
through
Congratulations.
L1, and he's the one who will be actually running this project.
Wow. Okay, great. So for our listeners, right, once again, I just want to highlight that ये podcast we're not trying to do as a sales pitch. We want to inform people, number one, and that like, okay, this is doable process and this is a very legit, whole thing is just done through the immigration process. We have decades worth of experience from you guys. कहते हैं ना कि किसी ने 10 साल एक फील्ड में काम कर लिया मतलब उसकी पीएचडी हो गई. तो आई हैव 3 PhDs on the call today, one coming from the immigration factor, and the other two of you guys are Maharati in your field in terms of business and all of that good stuff, right? Because that is the most important part. Okay, having strong credentials, somebody who's been into this grind, who knows how this is done, is the important part. Otherwise, this is like big investments involved in this, right? So, Arif ji, I'll start with you, right? So, can you explain us what is this EB-5 program, like in simple terms? ये है क्या? Because इतने
So,
सारे visa categories है, why should one go for the
right, right.
EB-5?
So very simple, sir. EB5 is a subsection of the US code, 1193 something something EB5. So
Mm-hmm.
EB1 through 5 are all employment-based categories.
Correct.
So they're EB1, EB2, EB3, EB4, EB5. These are all
Right.
categories of employment.
Mm-hmm.
EB5 specifically has 10,000 visas available per year.
Per year.
Out of the 10,000, 7% are reserved for Indians, for India. So that
Okay.
means out of 10,000, only 700 are reserved for India. Okay.
Okay.
In that 700, then there is set asides for T zone and rural zone.
Mm-hmm.
So T zone means targeted employment area.
Correct. This was one of the questions
TEA.
I wanted to
Right,
ask you,
right,
because
right.
there's two difference, and then a lot of people get confused in this. Okay, what do you mean
So
by regional and the direct
right,
investments?
right, right. So let me get back to that. So out of 700 visas available to Indians, unfortunately, if there's an applicant with husband and wife and 5 children, that's 7 slots out of the 700 gone. It's
Gone.
not
Okay.
per application, it's per number of bodies.
Okay. Makes
So if
sense.
a family member has 4 members, 3 members, so that's 700 that is allotted to India, 3 or 4 are gone. It's not per application, it's per
Makes sense.
bodies within the application. So
Okay.
that's okay. So that's 32% are set aside for T zone and rural. So 68% are unreserved category. Okay, so unreserved category means $1,050,000. So
Mm-hmm.
that can be anywhere in the United States, literally anywhere. T
Okay.
zone and rural are exactly what they say. They're specific to the zip code and the address where the project is located. So TEA means the objective of the government is to incentivize investment in those particular areas where they're somehow, somewhere economically depressed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but that is very misleading. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
for example, this will blow your mind. I have a project in Times Square, Voco project, that is
Mm-hmm.
in T zone. Now tell me, New York City, Times Square is not exactly economically
Mm-hmm.
depressed. It's one of the most prosperous zip codes in the country, in fact, in
Yep.
the whole world.
Yep.
So I don't want to give the impression to your listeners that T zone project is somehow less attractive. In fact,
Makes
they're
sense.
more attractive.
Makes sense. It
They're
is
more
just like if I were to say, like basically USDA gives like home loans, right? But USDA loans are more for rural areas, not for like normal areas.
correct.
It's the
The
same realm.
whole right, right. So the whole purpose is to incentivize investment in these areas that are not traditional investment doesn't go there. So
Mm-hmm.
government tweaks the formula in a way to attract more investment. So Prasanji's and Rakeshji's project is in a T zone. So why is it important? It's important for 2 reasons.
Mm-hmm.
One reason is the investment amount is lower. It's
Mm-hmm.
800,000. Probably the more important reason is the visa category under T zone is current, which means an applicant today can file and receive his green card within a year.
Nice.
Okay, versus the 68%, which is very unattractive right now for 2 reasons.
Mm-hmm.
One, the investment number is higher, which is
Mm-hmm.
1,050,000, plus the category for uh, for Indians is backlogged 4 or 5 years. It's worse
Okay.
for China, 7 8 years. So
Wow.
nobody who has that kind of money is willing to wait 5 6 years.
Okay.
They
So
have the
what?
money, they want it now.
Yep. No, it makes sense. So what types of employments or projects qualify for this? Like मैं आके कुछ कोई shell company भी खोल दूँ उसमें पैसे डाल दूँ. So what exactly is the type of uh, investments which qualify for this kind of EB5 category? ऐसा तो नहीं
Right.
कि gas station ले लिया और कर दिया.
No,
Like
no, no.
what?
Let me explain. So there's EB5s of two different categories. One is direct investment, which is you can buy a gas station or a restaurant and create 10 jobs and you're done.
Okay.
Okay. But it is better for direct investment is better for the investor who's willing and able to work in the project himself and be responsible for creating 10 jobs.
Correct.
That's simple but not ideally situated. Like, for example, Rakesh ji or Prashant ji, if they are looking for the investment, वो थोड़े gas station पे खड़े रहेंगे.
Exactly.
They already have a job. They're making 200,000-300,000 in IT. वो आके थोड़े खड़े रहेगा gas station
Exactly.
पे.
Exactly.
और वो
So
headache थोड़े
the
लेगा
reason why I was
restaurant पे.
asking this question, RFG, is like a lot of people think like, okay, मुझे manual labor काम करना पड़ेगा, right? ये लेके. So that is a myth, right? Like you don't have to go that route.
That's a total myth.
Okay.
However, it is still attractive for people who are interested in operating a restaurant or gas station or truck stop or whatever. It's still
Correct.
attractive because number one, they control the investment themselves.
Correct.
But see, that's the two sides of the coin, which
Correct.
also is an enormous amount of responsibility.
Oh,
Also,
yes.
okay, so most people that Rakesh and Prashant are trying to attract is high skilled investor, high skilled people who already have good existing jobs and they just want a green card and they have cash or access to credit. Those are the two
Correct.
things. Either have the ability to access credit.
Correct.
So those are the
So, yeah.
people that we're trying to attract, and that's the number one audience driver. See, because most people don't have that kind of money, and they're
Mm-hmm.
just kicking tires and figuring out what to do. So this is not for them. This is for
Correct.
truly. I want to set a threshold for your listeners that the this EB5 business works ideally for husband and wife who have good, decent income, some
Mhm.
savings, and have access to credit.
Correct. Some disposable income where they don't want to sit in the backlog for H1s and others
Correct.
and just,
Correct.
fast track their process to just be situated
Exactly.
here.
That's the ideal listener segment in your podcast.
Correct. So if I were to summarize this, right, there's about 10,000 jobs every year,
No,
7 to
10,000 slots.
10,000 slots. My bad. 10,000 slots, 700 goes reserved towards Indians. And out of that, there is 68% goes towards the other category. And then there's the remaining goes towards the other category, correct?
32% of 700, whatever number that is,
Correct.
210,
Correct.
210 some number, is
Correct.
for T zone.
Correct.
And within that 210, it includes husband, wife, children.
Correct. Correct. And इसमें फिर these are, the walk me through like a little bit on the process side of the house, right? Like if I were to bring this much money, want to go into this process, of course I'll get a green card. क्या वेट टाइम्स होता है, क्या कंडीशन स्टिपुलेशंस हैं? बिकॉज ऐसा तो नहीं है कि आपको आके सीधा ही वो पकड़ा देंगे कि like go for it now, you're resident and you're good to go, right? Of
No,
course
no,
there
of
is some
course not.
stipulations.
So of
Yes.
course not. So the other part is regional center. Regional center is what Prashant and Rakesh ji have.
Correct.
Regional center is the biggest faida, the biggest plus point is aggregation of jobs. The jobs
Mhm.
are deemed to be created as soon as the money is spent. So what
Correct.
these guys did was they hired an economic analysis consultant who took
Mm-hmm.
all the information from their project, churned it using all kinds of complicated formulas, and said, "Okay, your project is 30 million or
Correct.
something," and then therefore, if it is this 30 million is spent
Mm-hmm.
in, I believe, from the start to the end of the project is 3, maybe 4 years. If this 30
Basically, you're
million,
just trying to make sure the business is profitable or not if you were to invest here.
yes and no. So let me expand on the first part first. So the creation of the jobs is what the investor must look at. So
Correct.
the minute the jobs are because if the jobs are not created, his green card is at risk.
Correct. Okay.
So I'm backtracking a little bit before I get to the part.
Yep.
So from the investor, from the green card perspective, it does not matter whether Prashantji or Rakeshji are turn a profit or not. It's
Mm-hmm.
really USCIS doesn't give a damn whether
Mm-hmm.
you borrowed money, you put your
Okay.
own money. All they care is that did the jobs create, were the jobs created? They don't even
Correct.
care whether it's profitable or not. The idea is to spend
Correct.
money and create the
Correct.
ripple effect in the economy to create the jobs. See, government's incentive is to create jobs and create economic activity. It's
Makes
not
sense.
their job to make sure Rakesh Ji's project is successful.
Correct. So if I were to put myself in the shoes, right? I went with the plan. Iska, you get some conditional timeline before, just like I got married. You get like 3 years green card, then you become 5 years, whatever, 10 years,
Got
then
it,
you
got
become
it.
citizen.
So here's it
So
is. Here's what it is. Let me walk you through the process. So let's say, um,
so let's take a use case, right? Like I'm on H1 right now. मेरा
okay,
20 साल का वेट पड़ा है. मेरे
got it,
को
sir.
गॉड नोस कब खुलेगा मेरा किताब और कब कोई मेरे फाइल को पकड़ेगा, right? So
Of
what
course.
happened?
So I was getting there anyway. This is not my first rodeo. I've explained this, so I can
Correct.
probably explain this in my sleep. So let's say you are the guy who wants Van wants a green card. Van is a typical H1 tech worker, wife and him. They bring home approximately together 300,000-400,000 a year. They have 3 kids. One of them was born in India, 2 were born here. ये mixed
Correct.
family बहुत होते हैं यहाँ पर.
Correct.
Okay, so basically you need visas for you, wife, and your oldest child who's maybe 15 or 16. And you're
Correct.
starting, आपका टेंशन शुरू हो गया है कि मेरे बच्चे का क्या होगा जब
Correct.
21 का होगा तो क्या होगा
Yes.
आपको
I was going
टेंशन
to ask
शुरू.
you that question, but I'm glad you brought it up. So
I know, sir. I'm good at predicting your questions.
आप
So
लॉयर के साथ में फेस रीडर भी है.
so basically this is your typical client in Raleigh, North Carolina. Husband and wife bring in home somewhere between 250 to 300, 350 a year. They have 2 children, 3 children. The oldest one is in India. वो 15-16 साल का है. वो परेशान है. अम्मी बाबा परेशान है, right? उनके लिए ये है वीजा. So
Exactly.
what happens is, देखिए, first thing that happens is, from the investor standpoint, they need to check, number one, the credentials of the developer. Okay, it's a basic due diligence. Yeah, it's
Correct.
not very difficult. Okay, the first thing I am looking at is what is the capital stack. In other words, developer में how much skin in the game they have. अगर ये
Correct.
तो जो है 25 मिलियन का है तो इनकी इक्विटी कितनी है इसमें,
Exactly.
तो बैंक से कितना खर्च ले रहे हैं, फिर मेरे
Correct.
से कितना ले रहे हैं, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm looking for. So
Correct.
I'm not going to get into the details of their project because they
Correct.
know, Rakesh and Prashant ji knows the details. So I know them, but it's not my place to say that.
Correct.
Okay, so example, assuming that minimal due diligence is passed. In other words, the equity looks good, project looks good. देखिए हम सब बूढ़े हो रहे हैं, the silver tsunami जो हुआ था तो
Yes.
वो ये तो बूढ़े कहाँ जाएंगे यार, वो तो
Yes.
प्रशांत और राकेश जी के घर में ही जाएंगे.
Correct.
Right? So that's a good fundamental box to check off. This is
Correct.
not some kind of tech company. This is not some kind of restaurant that will go out of business if their people's taste buds change, or IT company नहीं है जो AI say is going to get replaced sooner or later.
Correct.
Right? ये तो ब्रिक एंड मोर्टार से बुड्ढों को घर चाहिए. ओके,
मेडिकल लॉ और डॉक्टर कहीं नहीं जाएंगे.
वो कहीं नहीं जाएंगे वो. राइट. और होपफुली लॉयर भी कहीं नहीं जाएंगे सर.
यस.
और कोई रेडियो होस्ट भी नहीं जाएंगे कहीं.
सरकार लॉ बनाती रहेगी, आप उसको इम्प्लीमेंट करते रहेंगे. सो
That's right.
इट्स गोना बी दैट्स हाउ इट इज.
So anyway, so that's what they look at. Basic due diligence. यार ये project ठीक ठाक है नहीं है, right?
करेक्ट.
And then they will ask Prashant ji some questions. उनका credible background check करेंगे कि they are not, because just FYI, Prashant ji and Rakesh ji have had their fingerprints checked by FBI. Because that's
करेक्ट.
before they give you a developer approval, they have to go some very, very thorough
करेक्ट.
scrutiny. These are not wanted in their home countries for
करेक्ट.
some fraudulent shit. Okay,
Correct.
so basic यहाँ तक जब तक आए हैं, that means they've already been vetted.
Exactly. Makes
They've
sense.
already been vetted. So anyway, then the first question is, okay, I have 500,000. I don't quite have the 300 plus the processing fee. Is there a loan available? Most likely there is.
Correct.
Because these people are credible. They have HELOC loans. They have equity in their house. They may have a 401k, and they may have parents in India who have some assets who are willing to gift it to them.
Correct.
All of these are possibilities, right?
Correct.
तो देखिए ये सब जमा करके आपके राकेश जी के पास आएंगे कि यार मेरे 800 तैयार है, राइट नाउ 500 है, 3-4 महीने में और 300 आ जाएंगे.
Correct.
Then they get onboarded. So the first thing that happens in the immigration world is they have to hire an immigration attorney, and hopefully that will be me with the recommendation of Rakesh ji and Prashant. So they'll come
Correct.
to me, and basically I'll send them a questionnaire. It's a very exhaustive, lengthy 150 question. So I'll have a pretty good idea okay, these are good candidates or not.
Correct.
Okay, they don't have any criminal background issues. They don't have, their money is clean. I will do a basic interview, make sure their money is clean. Okay, so FYI, 90% of EB-5s fail because they cannot prove source of funds. Source of funds both is
Correct.
the most critical thing. So I'll
Correct.
get back to that. So anyway, so they apply and deposit money into Prashant's escrow account. It's called a fund manager. Fund manager is an extremely valuable guy. Extremely valuable because he's the record keeper
Yep.
of the money going in and coming out. So basically, if you, Van, have sent 800 to Prashant's project, that means he cannot get his hands on it immediately.
Correct.
He cannot.
Correct.
So
Okay.
what I as an immigration counsel will have to send a fund manager a copy of his application saying, okay, I believe in my best of my ability, this is a valid application. And here's a receipt that to the immigration saying that their application has been filed. Then the fund manager sends a notice to Rakesh and Prashant, hey, I have a candidate with this money ready, then he transferred the money, and then Rakesh and Prashantji give him some kind of invoice how their money has been used. So the critical part is when the money gets used up is when the jobs get created.
Correct.
Okay, because that's the number one condition of getting a successful green card. The jobs must be created. So the
Correct.
guy who's the custodian of records is the fund manager. The fund manager is a very important guy. So
Correct.
he's tracking the money coming and going. So what happens is the first step that will happen is the candidate gets a notice to do his fingerprints. So fingerprints means somebody's looking at his file. So the
Nice.
the first step, fingerprints are done, that the candidate has no criminal issues. So then it goes to the next step,
Correct.
it elevates to the guy who's looking at the application. Then most likely he will get his EAD, which is a work permit.
Correct.
Work permits usually come within, my guess is 4 to 5 months. It might be a little slower because the number of applicants are so many.
Correct.
So many. So the number of applicants are so many. So then it's a little bit slower. Then right after that is he gets what's called a conditional green card. Conditional green card, I'm assuming will arrive within a year of his receipt notice.
Correct. Okay.
So the conditional green card, he's happy, the client is happy.
और इस दौरान बिजनेस शुरू हो गया है, एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेट हो गई है.
राइट, वो हो गई नहीं हो गई हमें कोई ताल्लुक नहीं है वैन साहब से.
Okay, the conditional green card they get, how many years is that for?
So 2 years.
2 years conditional green card.
So let me stop you right there. So 2 years जो है आपका पैसा चलेगा, right? 2 years के बाद देखिए, the thing is आपके पूरे 800 जाने के बाद the clock starts ticking.
Okay, makes sense.
Okay, clock starts ticking. So green card मिलने के बाद it's another clock starts ticking, which is 2 years, which
Correct.
is 2 separate tracks, by the way.
Correct.
Oh,
that time basically आपका case adjudication में और green card मिलने के बाद में your clock starts for the 2 years of that green card.
Right. At the end of the 2 years, or technically 90 days before, okay, 90 days before the expiration of the 2-year period, what happens is, as his immigration attorney, Van का immigration attorney, I will call the fund manager. यार मुझे एक जल्दी से रिपोर्ट बना कि कितने पैसे गए, कब गए, क्यों गए, पूरी हिस्ट्री बना के मुझे भेजा.
Okay, makes
the
sense.
Fund manager is the critical guy.
Correct.
Because he is independent of Prashant and Rakesh.
So he's not controlled or affiliated.
Absolutely not.
So that's the key here. Like, the money is going to the mediator, and that's where the transparency comes.
Right. We call him fund manager.
Correct. Makes sense.
The fund manager is the key guy.
Correct.
So
and USCIS is not interested in looking at the daily operations, like,
of course not, sir.
Or no.
Yeah, of course. Because you have a, देखिए, आप पैसे देने के बाद 5-6 महीने के बाद आपको EAD मिलेगा. तो
Exactly.
EAD
That's
से
why I asked.
देखिए, EAD is not tied to anything. You can go work at a gas station, work at Prashant Ji's company, you can work anywhere or keep the job you already have.
Correct. Okay, cool. तो आपने तो पूरी जर्नी बता दी. Now let me go to Prashant ji and Rakesh ji, right? So Rakesh ji, I'll start with you. So let's suppose we do this. What type of projects? आरिफ जी आप कुछ बता रहे थे, बताइए.
एक second, sir. So let me complete the journey. So
Yes.
we're almost there. Okay. So
Okay, sure.
So जब 2 साल जब हो जाएंगे, तो I will call the fund manager to give me a report of the entire project history, money going here, money going there, how many jobs, in other words, some kind of a financial report from Prashant. That doesn't mean they made money or didn't make money. मुझे कोई परवाह नहीं है उसकी. Okay, all I care is jobs create हुए, पैसा खर्च हुआ, jobs create हुए. Okay?
Correct.
So then I take the report and then I file it with removal of conditions with the USCIS.
Correct.
The USCIS doesn't care वो project भाड़ में गया, पैसे बनाया, नहीं गया, they don't really care. Right? So वो report में दूंगा, यार he as in Van, the investor, has complied with everything he was supposed to have.
Correct. Because the fund manager was involved, he kept checks and balances for everything in this.
Correct.
And so this report is coming through him.
Right. Then मुझे remove the condition on my green card.
Okay.
So at that point, I really have no more ties to the project. मुझे मेरा कार्ड मिल गया, मुझे एक ही फिक्र है, मेरे पैसे वापस कब आएंगे?
Correct.
वो प्रशांत जी और राकेश जी जब बताएंगे वो.
Correct. Okay. And then इसके process में, throughout this process, I am not tied. Let's suppose मुझे green card मिलता है, condition हट जाती. I'm not tied to work with this business, right? I can work in IT at that same time.
अरे sir, you can work in the beginning, कहीं से काम कर सकते हैं, आपको कोई ताल्लुक नहीं है project से.
Got it. और एक और question है कि चाइल्ड का फैक्टर, राइट? अभी वो 19 का है, ये करते करते 21 का हो गया, तो अब उसकी क्या कहानी है इसके बाद में?
उसकी कहानी सुनाता हूँ मैं. वो बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग कहानी है. For example, literally last week, एक इन्वेस्टर था, वो बेचारा, he was almost 60 years old, but
Correct.
उसका बच्चा था 20 साल का. तो
Okay.
वो बोले यार मेरा पैसा के भाड़ में गया, I don't really care, I want my kid to have. So what we did was, it's called CISPA. You guys might want to write it down, Sanji.
Okay.
CSPA, means Child Services Protection Act, which
Okay.
means the date of the filing, the child freezes his age.
Okay.
So even though his chronological age is obviously, har koi bude ho rahe hain, including you
Correct.
and me, but
Correct.
for legally his age is frozen.
Okay. Makes sense.
So he's frozen. He's frozen on the condition that his visa was available and a final action date is also there. Okay. So right now for T-zone, both are present. हम तो
Okay.
रोज चेक करते हैं सर, because this is my bread and butter. So we
Okay.
check the final action dates daily. So the T-zone ki final action is current, visa is available. That means we have done everything under the law. So freeze my age. That मुझे actually visa 2 साल के बाद मिलेगा, जब मैं 24 का हो जाऊंगा.
Correct.
20 से 24 doesn't really matter. My age is frozen.
Correct. Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. नहीं, आपने तो पूरा, चिट्ठा पट्टा खोल दिया इसका. So that's pretty much where I wanted to go. I wanted to scratch the surface and figure out कि क्या है process है, right? Because a lot of people still, I mean, of course, सबकी एक journey immigration की different होती है. Everybody's use case is different. That's where you will be involved. But majority of the journey is this, right?
Correct.
You come from this path and you go over this. And this is a quick and easy, you're pretty much not waiting for 20, 30 years worth of a backlog. It's pretty much the
Correct.
gain you have, and then sense of stability. And then after 5 years, आपका green card खत्म होता है, then you can just go towards the citizenship route. Pretty much, that's just the
Correct.
norm.
Correct.
Okay. So Rakesh ji and Prashant ji, whoever wants to go, right? So let's suppose आगे पैसे का समझो, अगर मेरे पास अभी शुरू में 500,000 है, राइट? तो हाउ डज द फाइनेंसिंग वर्क्स, लाइक हार्ड मनी लेंडिंग होता है, फाइनेंसेस होता है, पर्सनल लेंडिंग, हाउ डज दैट प्रोसेस वर्क? आपसे आपकी स्टोरी कहाँ से शुरू होती है, मुझे वो बताइए.
Yeah,
would
so
be able to answer that.
yeah, so basically, you have 500,000 right now,
Mhm.
right? The project needs 800,000 plus, some administrative fees, 65 to $85,000, right? Something like that.
Mhm.
You have 500,000, Abdulji will apply for your green card, right?
Mhm.
He will file your I-526E
Mhm.
with the condition that you will put remaining money a little bit later on. So you
Okay.
will put $500,000 and you will put some administrative fees and whatnot. Then remaining 300,000 has to come from legitimate source. There are lenders. Obviously, you want to go to the lenders whom you know. I mean, if you have home equity line of credit, you can go to your home equity line of credit. You go to your 401k, you take the money from there, or you go to specific lenders who are specifically for EB-5.
Okay.
So there are some FDIC insured lenders who are specifically for EB-5. Obviously, the cost of money is a little bit higher because this is unsecured loan from their perspective. So we typically ask investors to find out their own pocket, in the sense, their own credit lines, their own home equity lines of credits, or their 401ks or IRAs, get the loan from there, right? Those are the safest option, cheapest option for investors.
Yes.
But there are obviously FDIC insured EB-5 lenders out there who may be willing to loan you. And obviously for our project, we do have certain lenders who are aligned with our project. We are willing to introduce, we have nothing to do with them. That those lenders do their own underwriting of the borrower. And basically the money, wherever the money comes from, your investment has to go to 800,000, then only you are applicable to get the green card. Plus, obviously, you pay your administrative fees, right? I mean, 65 to $85,000, depending upon how you are applying it, basically.
Nice.
So,
Okay.
I mean, in a nutshell, your own home equity line of credits, your IRAs and 401ks, or FDIC insured FDIC insured EB-5 lenders. But
Correct.
the cost, they come with a cost, basically.
Correct. So when the funding comes to you, right, for an example, and any one of you can pick up the question answer, because I don't know, like, aap kahan pe involved or aap kahan pe involved ho. So let's suppose the funding comes through. Do you buy a new property or a business, or is it like you invest in the existing business?
Yeah,
Because ऐसा तो नहीं है कि आज बिजनेस ले लिया उसको रन करने के लिए भी पैसा चाहिए, एडिशनल पार्टनर्स डालने होते हैं कि दिस हैज टू बी अ ब्रांड न्यू बिजनेस.
very good question. See, funding is actually a very late in the game.
Okay.
We start the process of acquiring the asset much earlier. It takes
Okay.
almost a year to get to a
Correct.
place where we are actually able to take the investment from investors, right?
Okay.
So
Correct.
it is never the case the investor invests the money and then we go out and buy the property.
Correct.
Most of the time, and in our case, it is even better than that. Most of the time, property is already in the process of acquisition. A developer has already put in their own equity in the deal, and they have acquired it. Now, the money from the investor will be used to do the construction work on the project.
Correct. Okay.
So in our case, the property that we have is being run by Rakesh ji for last 12 years. So
Okay.
we currently own the asset. We have to
Okay.
acquire it into the project. So we have already put in 18 to 20% of money upfront just to acquire that asset.
Correct.
Now the job creation part comes when the investor puts the money in. Then we start breaking the ground, in the sense we start doing the renovation on the property, or we start doing the construction on the property. That's how the jobs are created, basically.
Okay.
So
Makes sense.
so investors' money is never at risk from that perspective. I mean, if investor is trying to invest in a project which has not been acquired, then probably it would be a little bit kind of shady situation.
Correct.
But not 99% of the time, and especially for us, the property is already acquired and we are doing the construction already. We have started the demolition. So the money coming in is being used to do that work.
So let's do this. I will flip the coin now towards you. जैसे हमने आरिफ जी से बात की है, right? Now I'm coming in with the money, 800,000 on the table. How will you kick off this whole process? क्या होगा? Real life scenario.
See, it is very simple process. We have filed for I-956F with USCIS, right? That has taken us 6 months, basically.
Okay.
So that process has already started. All it is now from investor standpoint is they have a conversation with Arif Ji or Arif's administrative paralegal. She vets the investor, and basically, depending upon how much money investor has, either he puts in whole 800,000 or he puts in 500,000. And if it is 500,000, then obviously he has to go through the lenders. But from a money standpoint, the day he signs, he puts in some money, right? He starts the legal process. Investor doesn't have to get involved in the project itself, as he's saying. However, our building is there in Cincinnati downtown. It's a Quality Inn hotel, which is right there. All investors are welcome and visit us anytime, right? So if they want to feel the brick and mortar building, that is out there, which is running as a hotel as we speak. But we are going to shut it down and we are going to start the construction in next 3 weeks time. Anyway, but from investor standpoint, it is as simple as that. They talk to me, they talk to Rakesh ji, and they talk to Arif ji and his administrative paralegal, and she vets the investor. And if the paralegal says, yeah, everything looks okay, investor signs the paper with us, Arif ji files their I-526E form, investor sends the money to our fund administrator proxy, and from that point his things have started. from a due diligence perspective, we have all the documentation, all the reports, which already said that all the study, case plan, underwriting,
Correct.
everything. So all that is available. Our property is approved for the conversion, and Rakesh can talk a little bit more on the construction side because he's the
Correct.
guru there. I
Yes.
take care of the finance part, and he takes care of all the hard work.
Correct.
So
तो मुझे एक क्वेश्चन था कि जैसे प्रॉपर्टी समझो मैं अब यहाँ हाल ही में रह रहा हूँ और प्रॉपर्टी हम ले रहे हैं, टारगेटेड जोन हमको मिल रहा है फॉर एन एग्जांपल Alabama में, right? Like whatever state, right? Do I have to move there or can I live in Raleigh?
no,
Absolutely not, sir.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. So, Van, sir, I'll cut to the chase.
Okay.
The Van is interested in a project. He only has two questions, sir. How safe is my money? When do I might get my green card? He's not interested कि आप पापड़ बेले या बूढ़ों की
Exactly.
सेवा करे या घर बनाए नहीं बनाए. He doesn't care, right? Only
Correct.
thing आपका listener cares is मेरा पैसा safe है नहीं है. Okay,
Exactly.
मुझे green card मिलेगा कब मिलेगा. Okay,
Correct.
he's not that interested in anybody's project because I'm
Correct.
speaking. I am the investor, okay? I am wearing the hat of the investor. And because that's what the investors ask me. How safe is my
Correct.
money?
Correct.
When do I get my money back? When do I get my green card?
Correct.
So basically, I give them a one-page summary. Yeah, these are the various investments available. What is your risk tolerance?
Correct.
I asked the investor, okay? Some people are very particular. They want to touch, see, feel. Some people are very data-driven. Okay.
Correct.
They're very data driven.
Correct. So so I had two questions to follow up. Sorry, Arif ji. So Prashant ji, let's suppose everything's going hunky dory, all that's fine. Do I have any ownership in this business?
See, you as an investor, your money is preferred equity, right? You do not have the straight ownership in the business.
Correct.
Your money is considered as a preferred equity, right?
Okay.
Normally the returns in the EB-5 world are 0.5 to 1.25% of the money. For our project, we have gone, in my mind, I don't want to show off, we have gone above and beyond to give 3% preferred return to the investors, meaning that investors would make 3% before developer would make a single penny on it.
For 1 minute.
Okay.
Simple. The idea here is the concept of EB-5 is the government wants to create jobs.
Correct.
And they are promoting for creation of job. They are ready to give you green card.
Correct.
The investors' main aim is to get a green card.
Correct.
The second thing is their investment is secure. They want their investment to be secure. However, the rule and the concept is the government says your money should be at risk.
Correct.
There is where the beauty comes, where the investor actually investigates where is my money safe. And that is why we are talking about this particular project. So really here we are offering 3% return, preferred equity, which is given to the investor at the time when we are returning the money. So there is money which comes to him at the time when we are refinancing or selling the project. That's when he gets 3% return. Number two, I would like to clarify, when RFG would convert the condition, when he will remove the condition after 2 years, at that time, the government actually has a process where you have to submit the details of your people you have employed. They will physically see through your tax returns and through your taxes you have filed that you have employed those many jobs as you had promised. That's when they remove your condition. Now, if you allow me, I can talk about this project.
Sure. Yes, I want you to take it over now because we are pretty much on the last segment, and then we'll एक rapid fire round करेंगे end में.
Yeah, absolutely.
So bust out all the myths.
Yeah, let me talk about this project. This project actually, I had started plan with Prashantji about 1.5 to 2 years back. There is a whole process. We've gone through this 1.5 to 2 years. The initial meetings with the city happened. We went there. The zoning was changed. There was a whole process for changing the zoning of the building. Then we went through the process of the feasibility study, then went through the process of initial assessment by the city if it can be converted to a assisted living and a memory care.
Correct.
We had intentions to do a combination of independent living, assisted living, and a memory care. We assessed the building based on the feasibility study. So the process has been 1.5 to 2 years. It took us about 6 months to 8 months to change the zoning. Then it took us another 6 months to decide the feasibility as to what should we convert it to.
Correct.
We had done the similar project 3 years back. It took us 2 years of construction, which we opened in 24 April, a similar project in Cincinnati, which is about 25 minutes from this particular project in downtown.
Correct.
So the assessment and the process itself is a lengthy process. But we were able to do all that, which included everything which I've just explained. Now, here is a project which now we are ready to go. We were able to get the demolition consent approved. We were able to get the construction permits now. They are being processed. So by the time we finish demolition, the permits would be issued. We have basically got everything in place now. So you have the building consents done, zoning done, the funding done. We have already put our own money up front. We are now sitting ready with our GC already finalized. And because I've been in construction all my life, we have made sure that we don't do any overruns. These are the kind of projects which I've done for my 30 years. And the projects are spread across the world, including Australia, New Zealand, and US. And
Correct.
especially when we have done these retirement homes, already 4 or 5 of them between me and Prashantji, we know exactly it's going to take us about 14 months for us to complete the project. It's going to take, we have the sources and uses, all these data are available online. They can be shared with the investors. So what I'm trying to say is, here is a project which we have gone through, put our 1.5 to 2 years behind it already.
Correct.
Now is the time of action where we are inviting the investors that here is a project they would like to walk and come and see the project. We can show him what we have done previously, which is currently operating at the moment in Cincinnati, which is about 20-25 minutes drive from this project in downtown. So the project is converting a 242 rooms, 12-story hotel, which I'm operating since 2014, 15. And now is the time to change it. So we're converting that into 171 retirement units.
Wow.
It's a combination of assisted living and memory care. So the memory care, we've got 2 floors, and the balance is your assisted living. The city has already agreed, and the licensing from the state, we've got those consultants involved. We have the ability to convert the whole building and apply for a Medicaid waiver. The Medicaid waiver application will make the building fill up very fast. The good thing about that is because our intention is the sooner we are able to secure a 85% occupancy and up, with Medicaid waiver, there is a likelihood, we are told by the consultants, that instead of taking 18 months to 2 years to fill it up, we might fill it up within 1 year. What that would do, the moment we hit 85% occupancy, we would be able to refinance the project from HUD financing, and we are able to return the money to the investor.
Basically, cash out refinance is what it's called.
Exactly. So the good thing is we would take 6 months to 7 months for demolition. Then we take another 10 months to 12 months. So while the demolition is being happening, we would start the construction as well at the same time, flow by flow. So all in all, we believe that 14 months we should be open. Another 8 months to 10 months we should stabilize. And we are targeting that we should hit that refinance in 2.5 to 3 years, where then we have the ability to return the money. Now, the surety of the project is because our money is already gone in. The
Correct.
bank loan is being personally guaranteed by me, Prashantji, and our third partner also, I would like to mention you. He is a doctor. He is a doctor
Okay.
from Carolina, and he's been in the industry for almost 25 years, and he's
Nice.
practicing as currently, and he has his own surgical center. So
Nice.
we three have decided that now we have 500 units. We want to
Nice.
make sure that we reach to 1,000 units in next 3 years. That is what our intention is.
Correct.
With the current downtown project with 171 units, we'll be
Correct.
reaching about almost close to 700 units. So
Great.
the investors and if we see the combined experience between me, Prashantji, and the doctor, it is almost about 100 years. So we have 100 years of experience, three
Correct.
three the people behind the project are very strong with a
Correct.
complete experience of construction. These are the projects we do all our life, and we have existing 500 units, and the similar project was completed by me personally about 2.5 years back. So all in
Nice.
all, the investors are in good shape, and they are
Great.
most welcome to come and visit the project.
I think now I'm able to join the dots because I myself was cloudy on this whole concept. So after talking to you guys, I understand the whole gist of this. Basically, कोई एक इंसान 800,000 से कोई प्रॉपर्टी नहीं ले सकता, घर भी नहीं आता आज के टाइम पे. So you guys are a vehicle you can jump on, and you can take advantage of this and secure yourself. And then from the legal perspective, जैसे आरिफ जी ने बताया, this is a very safe and sound process. ऐसा नहीं है कि कोई आज पैसा दे दिया और कल आप उसको चेस कर रहे हो and all of that. It's a very, the main point is you got to have the right people in the room you're talking about. जितना आपने legwork किया है साल 2 साल 3 साल में, it's a lot of money you have poured in on yourself as well. So I can kind of get the whole gist of what is happening. So I'm pretty sure the viewers will really appreciate this information जो आपने दी है, right? At the end of the segment, I'll ask you guys. I mean, I will definitely put your information on the podcast and everywhere so people can reach out. I think we should go into a rapid fire round before this becomes too long. So Arif ji, आपके लिए आप unmute हो जाइए, because I think this rapid fire round should be for you only. And you don't have to give any explanation. I'm just going to ask simple thing.
Question is this investment safe? The answer is the money is at risk. As long as the real estate investment is backed by real estate, it is absolutely safe.
Correct. Okay. Is this a long-term track or a short-term or a fast track?
For the visa, it's an absolutely fast track. For investment, it can be both. It can be, even if you don't need the money, you can stay as investors. And I'm sure Rakesh ji and Prashant ji would love that because they don't have to return the money right away.
Sure.
It can be
And
both.
then is this better for families or for individuals only?
No, of course for families.
Okay.
Because you just simply divide up the number of bodies in the 800K. If you have a large family, everybody gets it.
Oh yes, वो तो मैंने सोचा ही नहीं. Yes,
Right.
that is a good point.
Right,
Because
right,
अगर
right.
आपके 3-4 बंदों को वीजा मिल रहा है फैमिली में, तो that's pretty much you just count it per head at that point.
Exactly.
What is the biggest myth for you for EB5 जो आपने देखा है और सुना है?
Okay, can you repeat that question, please?
What is the biggest myth about the EB5 category?
Myth. The myth is that the amount of money that's required has to come all at one time, and it has to be his own money. That is the myth. The reality is none of it has to come from him. It can come from his loan, from a bank, from any of his sources, or family, friends, anywhere. It can be gifted, it can be loaned, or it can be just his own money. That is the biggest myth that people somehow seem to think that it has to be his own personal money, and it's not true.
And in closing, मैं एक question आप तीनों से एक पूछूंगा, and then we'll wrap it up. So, what are the 3 tips that someone should consider for EB5 as per you? The 3 tips you would give to somebody. It can be short answer or a long answer, whatever you
Real,
want.
real simple. If you're choosing a project to invest your money, number one, it must be real estate backed. Let me tell you, real estate is not sexy. It's slow and steady, but it's the real estate is always there. And number two thing you should check is to see how much equity that the developer have. How much skin in the game does he have?
Correct.
That is
Correct.
the best indicator
Correct.
of whether the project is safe or not.
Correct.
Best indicator. Third is his track record.
Correct.
It doesn't have to be in the EB-5 space. It has to be in the space that Rakesh and Prashantji already are. So if they're building a assisted living, well, what kind of background do they have in assisted living?
Nice, nice.
That's
No, I
all.
think I think you're
Three
making
things.
perfect sense. Like मैं ऑनेस्टली बताऊंगा कि मुझे खुद को बहुत ज्यादा हिचकिचाहट होती थी ये वर्ड सुन के EB5 कि लगता था यार पता नहीं क्या है ये पैसा किसको देना है बट आई थिंक आफ्टर टॉकिंग टू यू गाइस इट इज ऑल making sense but I'm joining these dots right. Prasant ji, the next question is for you. What is the biggest mistake investors should avoid?
See, fundamental of it is, as Abdul Bhai also said, is where are you investing your money, right? I mean, are the guys really legitimate? What is their background and how much they are putting, how much skin they are putting in the game, right?
Correct.
So to me, that is the fundamental. That's the security of the money, right? The capital has to
Correct.
be preserved.
Correct.
So in my mind, I mean, you have heard that, where we are coming from,
Correct.
the amount of experience, the amount of money
Correct.
that we have put in this deal, and
Correct.
amount of the projects we are continuing to do. And this is not
Past
the only,
track records, right? Like आपका
yeah.
पूरा history है इसके अंदर, so it makes sense. Because skin in the game is important, and plus business भी तो at the end of the day profitable होना चाहिए, and I think this senior care is also one of the biggest. It's a pretty hot potato out there. Like everybody is in need of this.
Yeah, the fundamental of it, we are not off the block, right? I mean, we have been around for some time doing this
Correct.
time and time again, and that is actually creating the value, right? I mean, we are
Correct.
creating the value for ourselves and for our investors also.
Correct. And then Rakesh ji, what advice would you give to an Indian family exploring this option?
I would say this is a good program if it is being investigated properly, and if
Correct.
you see that the project is a real and you have good people behind the project, it's a very good program for a family. I personally seen, I'm being in the army, I have two batchmates. One of the batchmates who is in Bhubaneswar, he retired as a general. His daughter is in Houston at the moment, and he approached me. And now, after I explained to him, he's wanting to do for his daughter. So I think your one of the questions was good for the family or the individual. I think it is good for both,
Correct.
because the people who are alone, and especially for those kids, like my batchmate General Satpathy, his daughter is here for 7 years. He's
Correct.
worried because now with what's happening with H1B, they
Mhm.
are worried. The parents are worried about their kids, and especially
Correct.
daughters.
I've seen a
So
lot.
yeah,
Trust me.
so
I've
it
seen
makes
so
sense.
many.
It makes sense. People are trying to not get married. They are confused. They want to delay till the time they are sure. So I think if there is a good possibility of funds being collected, whether it is from their parents or from a loan or their secured job, they can go and get for a loan. I think it is a wonderful opportunity, and I think is a right way that everything get processed for you within a year and a half, and then you don't really have to have sleepless nights, especially for the singles who are working very hard. And it's a bonus for the family with their kids, and your family, entire family gets the green card. I think it is a win-win for, I believe, for the United States as well, and as well as the families. It's both
Thank
ways
you.
to
Thank
explore.
you. Thank you so much for breaking this down so clearly. This was so much insightful. For the viewers, we were planning to have like a 15-20 minute podcast. It's gone pretty much, I guess, more than an hour because conversation was so, informative and, kitna kuch seekhne ke liye mila. So to all of our listeners, right, if you are watching, the information will be available on the on the thumbnails and other places. RFG, what's the best way to reach out to you if somebody wants to?
Sir, I will give you my office number and my cell number. I'm available 24/7 because this is such a critical moment. My my office number is 316-300-3000.
Oh, perfect. And
300,
Rakesh ji,
yes. 316-300-3000.
that's so easy.
Sure. My number is, I'll give you my cell phone number. It's a
Sure.
24/7. Anytime you can call, except when I'm sleeping, I may not pick up. Otherwise, I'm a 24/7 guy. 720-209-7646. Or you guys can go onto our website, which Prashantji will tell you, and there is a chat function available, and you can submit your form and we'll reach you out. Otherwise, you can call on our cell phone, no problems.
Fantastic. Prashantji, what's the best way to call you?
See,
Or reach out?
basically, yeah, my number is 631-315-2515. As Rakeshji said, we are us or call us 631-315-2515. In addition to that, our website for the project is AL Dreams US, ALDREAMS US, basically Assisted Living Dreams
Nice.
US.com.
Fantastic. Okay, thank you guys. For our listeners, if you like the episode, please do like and share. Share it with somebody who may be looking to explore this opportunity if you're not interested in one. I'm pretty sure किसी ना किसी को तो इस podcast से benefit होगा. Personally, मैंने तो already a lot of benefits ले लिए one-on information से. And हम यूं ही मिलते रहेंगे. We will, keep having these conversations. Hopefully, you keep bringing new projects, Rakesh ji and Prashant ji, and we'll have follow-up conversations on this as well at some point. But this is once again Chai Pe Charcha with Van. Thank you, Arif. But it was a very, very fantastic conversation having with all of you guys.
Thank you so much, guys. Take care.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much for your
You
time.
too. Mhm.